everybody, it's me, GhostCritic. I'm back. It's Thursday. It's a comic book review show. Oh, it's gonna be a long one. I'll try not to make it too long. But just before I start with the books, all 10 of them, just to remind you to go and watch my last video for the YouTube comic book community best of 2012. I hope you're all thinking about your nominations for the best of that has just gone by in the comic book world. Looking forward to getting all your nominations. Thank you to everybody who's already sent me a personal message with their nominations. Got quite a few already, but keep them coming. Keep them coming. So the books. Let's just do it, should we? Let's just get it over with. It's Amazing Spider-Man, issue 698. Now wait! Before you stop this video and go, I haven't read it yet, I haven't read it yet. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to say a few things, but I'm not going to spoil it. You won't need to stop or fast forward it. Okay. The story begins in a very obvious way. We have Spider-Man flying around, or spinning, web shooting around the city, saying how great his life is. He thinks it's great to be Spider-Man. And straight away you're like, you know something bad's going to happen. That's my first point. Then you get the second point. Peter Parker starts acting very, very strangely. And you just thinking, what the? And then the third thing. I'm not going to say it, but the big reveal at the end. I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. It really has come out of nowhere. There's been no indication since, and I said this on Twitter, I need to go back and read it from Ends of the Earth and see if I missed something. I don't believe I do, but this came out of nowhere. I didn't like it. To be fair, I know everyone's been messaging me and commenting like, if you don't like Amazing Spider-Man this much, why are you still getting it? Well, I'm kind of like at the moment, 3 more issues to go, and we're done. So why not? Let's see if Dan Slott can do something with this. I didn't read it, but I can imagine how people felt. This is how I feel now when people had one more day and that one moment in time. I didn't like it. Ruined. Moving on. Justice League issue 14. If you were listening to Comic Talk Podcast yesterday with me, the Captain Cummins, and MAW001, we had a bit of an afternoon, early evening special. You would have heard I'm dropping this title. Yes, this is another one I'm dropping. I can hear all of you going, yay, it's about time. I've had fun with it, but it's going nowhere. This, I mean, especially here, I can't believe they've wrapped this Cheetah storyline in 2 issues, and they haven't really. You've got a bit of backstory about Cheetah. There's the who's the bad person, Wonder Woman's friend, or the Cheetah power that took over her friend. You get a few little snippets that Cheetah now is exactly where she needs to be. And we're all leading into this Atlantis, Aquaman-centric storyline that's coming. And I have no interest in that whatsoever. So it was a perfect time to drop it. Again, like I said with Batman and Robin, I'm still probably going to have to pick up at least the next 2 issues of this now. But I don't think I'll be changing my mind anytime soon about picking this back up. It's terrible. We got, whoops, throwing my comics everywhere. We had a .1 issue from Ultimate Comics X-Men, 18.1. And this was kind of dealing with the fallout from the issue 17, where Captain America, or should I say President America, has kind of swooped in and given the mutants a choice. Have the cure, or don't have the cure, and we'll give you this little reservation in the middle of nowhere to live presumably safely without prejudice. And so this kind of, like I said, it deals with the fallout. Kitty Pryde is in a kind of interview room being questioned by, I guess, a presidential aide of Captain America's, and trying to get this information out. And what we find out was from the cure, there's this like centre, and there are mutants queuing up to be cured. And I told you guys, I said this, Husk wasn't right. And in this issue, I was proven right. She was a bad one, and she does something that causes mayhem, and again, puts the mutants back in a very uncomfortable position. They're made to look really bad again. They aren't the kind of peace-loving, just want to integrate kind of race. They will always end up being a violent, warlike community. I didn't like the artwork that much in this issue by Andrade and Blue. We'll say Blue. It was a very different style than what we're used to. I didn't particularly like it. The story was engaging. It was very Brian Woodish DMZ again. He definitely has got that whole DMZ vibe going with this book. And it doesn't really harm it that much. But for someone who's already read DMZ, it just feels a little bit too similar. Following the same kind of storylines and premises, we'll put it that way. I'm still enjoying it though. We'll see how this Reservation X storyline that's coming up pans out. So we had a new #1 from the Marvel Now series. It was the one I was kind of looking forward to out of all of them. It was the Mark Waid Indestructible Hulk. And yes, I had fun with it. It was a very intriguing read. It does kind of bring up some questions though, especially from the last season, the last volume of Incredible Hulk with Jason Aaron. S.H.I.E.L.D. are looking for the Hulk. They can't find him since the last volume of Incredible Hulk, and they're basically wanting to well, lock him away and keep him locked down, because obviously he's there and he makes lots of mess and causes a lot of grief and costs a lot of money for the community at large. And Maria Hill, head of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's just kind of sat in a diner, and who should pop along? It's Banner. It's David Banner. And he's... Sorry, Bruce Banner. Who's David Banner? Bruce Banner. He just sits there and he's got a deal to cut. And it is a case of, look, I'm fed up of being told I'm pretty much useless and everyone wants the Hulk, you know, dead or locked up. I'm a scientist. I'm a bloody good scientist. I'm equally as good as Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic. And I want my due. So the deal is that if you put me up in a laboratory with all your, you know, your payroll, that you can give me all this great equipment, I'll keep the Hulk under control and you can use him to throw at those things that, you know, would do with the Hulk's strength kind of deal. And his first kind of impromptu mission to show his worth is a battle against the Thinker and a huge robot. A lot of fun, entertaining read. The artwork by you, the slowed down talky bits are actually very good. It's when it comes to the kind of big chaotic and they are chaotic kind of fight scenes, the battles, and everything starts to get a little confusing, a little bit muddled, and a little bit chaotic. And it's very difficult to discern what's actually going on. And, you know, I don't want to have to strain my eyes to figure out who's who from panel to panel. That was my only gripe about this. A good start to the Indestructible Hulk. Penultimate issue of Uncanny X-Force, issue 34, and the final part of the Final Execution storyline. Can you believe this has been going for, this is like a 10-issue storyline? I have to say, unlike the last long one, the other saga one, I've forgotten what it's called. Whatever. The last big storyline with Angel, Warren Worthington. The Dark Angel saga. That was it, wasn't it? While that one was very long, that was about 7 or 8 issues long, it didn't feel like any of those issues were wasted, and the story as a whole was epic. Now, while kind of big things have gone on in this storyline, it has seemed to take a long time to get to where we are now. And you know, everything wasn't looking good for all our Uncanny X-Force team. Things kind of get wrapped up in a very kind of violent, as you would expect from this title. People do bad things. Somebody may or may not have died. You never know in this with Uncanny X-Force, and I guess the feeling at the end, I've heard people talk about this, they're kind of really sad at the ending. There's a big emotional, there was meant to be a big emotional output at the end here. And I just kind of felt a bit numb to it all. It's like, I'm sure I've seen and heard and read this before. I was a bit disappointed, to tell you the truth. Whether, I don't know, Remender had to wrap this story up. I say wrap this story up really quickly, part 10. But I just didn't feel anything at the end, and I'm sure I was meant to. Oh well. Oh, gone to Image now. We've got Mind the Gap, issue number 6. This is shaping up to be a very interesting and intriguing tale. It does remind me, it's kind of got, I mean, yeah, you've got this whole whodunit thing, and it's like watching an episode of like 80s Dallas where it was like, who shot JR? It could be anybody in this book that actually did the dirty deed to our poor main character Ellie. Ellie's playing around, she's like still in this limbo, she's playing around with her powers, I guess, you know, where she can go into other people's bodies and wake them up, essentially. And that was a kind of fun, interesting moment. And it's the kind of trying to believe, her friend's trying to believe what is going on, because she kind of inserts herself into this girl who was presumed dead. And she was also, it was a tragic thing where it was seen as death by kind of misadventure, falling down the stairs, but it was, did she fall or was she pushed? Through this interaction between Ellie and being in this girl's body, she finds the true story. And so being in this girl's body and being able to wake her up, even though she was supposedly pronounced dead, she can convey this message and get the police to reinvestigate. So she's kind of becoming a kind of a detective herself, like a supernatural detective. It was just a really interesting book. They're throwing, like I say, more clues. The mother is not a very nice lady in this, and it's like, is mother behind all this? Is she pulling all the strings? Or are we being led down the garden path here? Is this a red herring? McCann is definitely writing a very, like I said, intriguing storyline, and I'm keen to read the next issue and keep reading this up. Very highly recommended. Another one that was another Image title that I would thoroughly recommend, onto its 5th issue now. It is Revival, our rural noir book from Image. This went on a bit. Oh, it was good. There was lots of action in this issue. God, where to start? Yeah, we've got this strange guy, this kind of demon hunter with the Lord on his side, but he's not actually a very nice guy, and he's got our reporter tied up on a kind of cross thing, trying to find out what she knows and who she knows. And what do we hear in the background? A big scream. And the daughter, the younger sister, who we know is already a reviver, the daughter of the detective, the cop, she's having, as we can see on here, one of these kind of ghostly alien creatures that we've been seeing popping in and out of previous issues. It's going into her mouth. But by doing this, the girl can see memories, images of the past, and these kind of ghouls, these ghosts, these ectoplasmic alien monster things, they're after something. And in this case, it's a personal object, a ring that she has. So we're learning more and more about what could possibly be behind all this, these kind of resurrected family members. And yes, we have an awesome ski bike chase, kind of James Bond style. And this girl shows, you know, being a reviver has its benefits. Slamming smack bang, or causing at least our demon hunter to slam right into an oncoming truck. Very exciting, very action packed. I'm really liking Revival at the moment. It was very difficult to get a pick of the week. I don't think there was one, even though there was some outstanding books. So let's just say these are my top 3 recommended books this week. Batwoman issue 14. It's always good when, you know, J.H. Williams and Hayden Blackman are on here working together. It's always a stellar read. Always beautiful to look at. The construction of the panelling, the artist's work on here, it's just so nice. I've heard a lot of people have a few kind of issues with the kind of text to art ratio, and I don't think this title, this issue, is going to change your mind so much. There is a lot to read in this, but personally I think it's well done. I get everything I need from both the writing, from the story, from the thoughts that are going through the head of Batwoman, and the vocalization from Wonder Woman, and it just fits perfectly with the art style and the way all the panels are creatively constructed. The first half of the book we left off and we met Pegasus, who is Medusa's kind of outcast son. and through Batwoman doing a bit of detective work, which was nice to see, we get in very graphic detail poor Pegasus' mutilation and torture by his brother Falchion. And we get the story behind that, and a big decision from Wonder Woman to make in the first half of this book. In the latter half, finally, Medusa shows herself, along with all her kind of mutated and cohorts, especially Croc, who, again, people have had a bit of an issue with his recent mutation. Well, that mutation only gets worse, and it only gets bigger, and it's only the beginning of Medusa's and kind of black magic, kind of not sacrifices, black magic spells. What, she's got a plan, and you know there are stuff to do. The next issue kind of wraps up the storyline, and from the solicits I've accidentally seen, apparently everybody's in it, and it's all a big smackdown, and I'm very, very excited for it. Batwoman has just been really, really good for a long, long time, and this is no exception. Pick this up. Oh, Wolverine and the X-Men issue 21. It doesn't seem like a week has gone by before I talked about that one behind it. So good. You know what's great about Wolverine and the X-Men? It's the joy of its innocence. It tells a story. You have dark characters, you have evil characters, you've got the Hellfire Club, you've got this circus with all its freaks and its kind of mutants and Frankenstein, and they are baddies, but it's done with a big dollop of fun. And that's what I've missed about the X titles for a long, long time. Coupled with Bradshaw's artwork on here, and you know, Jason Aaron just throwing in lots of humour. This is just the best X book. You can forget about all the new #1s that are coming out. This is the X book you should be reading. It just harkens back to, and I mean, I know people say that it was a kind of a very dry area, but it just reminds me of like the kind of late 80s, early 90s, where, you know, it was just a fun, innocent kind of comic, where you just had this amazing story, you read it and you loved it, you laughed, you were excited, it was dangerous in the kind of, you know, plot-wise. I just have nothing but praise to say about this book. We have a school free of teachers, and the students are like, where have they gone? Where are they? And we find out that they are working for this circus, but they've all got different names. They think they should all be doing something else, but they don't know what, and through the story you find out what's affected them. Great, 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 great issue. I love Wolverine and the X-Men. And finally, book 10. It's issue 20 of Daredevil. Wow. Coyote's kind of origin, what he's been up to, all gets told here. Daredevil hasn't been going mad. We knew this all along. Mark Waid really wasn't going to send us down that path again. We've just got rid of that last volume of Daredevil. Well, let's stick with, you know, with what we've been used to, this kind of more lighter, Silver Agey, fun superheroing, if only on a street type level. There are some quite freaky bits, no less than a room full of heads. Just heads, all alive, just like we see Daredevil with the kind of base collar thing on. This was good. And I don't really want to spoil this one, really. It was just a fantastic read. Daredevil having to use his headless body to get around was just really fun and interesting to watch. And we find a machine with a hooked up version of Spot. Is Spot and Coyote the same person? Are they two different people now? Wade just surpasses himself with every issue. Another great title. I did get Frankenstein Alive, even though I said I wasn't going to get it, but I thought, what the hell? But I haven't got around to reading that yet, but I have looked inside, and the artwork by Wrightson is just as beautiful as always, but I'm going to be looking forward to reading that over this weekend. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you again for all the nominations that are coming in for the best of 2012. Please go and check that video out and send me a personal message with your nominations. There will probably be another video up, and maybe Sunday, chatting about bits and bobs, and we might get back to Amazing Spider-Man 698 when you've all finally got a chance to read it. And then I can give you my full thoughts. But I wasn't happy. Bye bye, take care, and I hope you have a good weekend. See ya.